Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, it is early June here in Michigan and I am out in the field with my Zulus LRF mounted up on my Christensen Arms 6.5 Creedmoor doing some deer hunting. Now I know you guys may be wondering, what are you doing out in the field in early June doing some deer hunting? So let me get to that. Early June here in Michigan, our crops have just begun to sprout. We've had warm weather for basically a month now. Tender little crops are sprouting up and we have areas that have an overabundance of whitetail deer. So our Department of Natural Resources offer farmers in certain areas permits to reduce the herd size. Now this is hunting that can take place for whitetail deer does. So you're not out here harvesting immature bucks or any kind of trophies, simply out here to help the farmers reduce the herd size, reduce the crop damage. Now I've talked to a farmer that I'm helping out doing this and he said he has fields that he loses up to 40% of his crops to whitetail deer. Now you may think that's an exaggeration, and so did I at one point, until I went out in the field and went out there to harvest one of the deer that I shot, and I really took a good survey of the field and noticed he's probably underestimating the damage that some of these deer are doing. So these are fields that you can see upwards of 12 or 20 deer at a time trickling out into these fields, just mowing down, especially in the fields that I'm in, the beans. They're not messing with some of the other crops, but specifically the beans here in early June in Michigan, the deer really like to tear into those things. So hey, with that out of the way, that is why I'm out deer hunting, and that is why the Zulus LRF is out in early June, not in the fall yet. But hey, let's get to what's next. I got some footage for you guys, real action, real use with the Zulus LRF out doing some hunting, and I want to talk a bit about that experience. So it was out the other day and I filmed this bachelor group of a few bucks that are out. Now some of these are going to end up being some nice sized bucks, but early June, the racks are still growing, things are still in velvet. But I got some footage, kind of zooming in, working around through the features, and getting back familiar with the Zulus. Now, if you are in the market for one of the Zuluses, this is the hang up that I really the bandwagon that I'm preaching with getting these digital day-night optics, whether it's a Zulus or even some other brand. And that is keeping yourself familiar with all the functions. So looking at the Zulus, this firearm is empty, but looking at this Zulus, you've got all these buttons right here on the top. Now, one of the things I do like about the Zulus is it's very intuitive working all the features on this. And what I mean by that, it doesn't take a lot of just pressing and figuring things out, even if you don't have a owner's manual or access to Google or something to figure something out. If you monkey around for a bit, you're gonna figure it out with these buttons. It's quite intuitive. However, when you're out in the field, whether it's on a night coyote hunt or a deer hunt like I'm doing, you probably don't have time to be fiddling around. You want to get out there, you want to get your set in place, and you want to have this thing set up and ready to go. Now, with this kind of an optic, what I suggest is playing around with it a little bit before you get back out there if you've stepped away from it for a bit. Now, I've got some content that I made just recently within the last month, taking this actual rig out and zeroing this rifle and shooting it at 200 and 300 yards. So it hasn't been that long, so I'm still quite familiar with the features on this. But if you're someone who has done some shooting early spring and you put the thing away and you plan to go out on a traditional fall hunt, something I would suggest is get your Zulus out, play around with it a little bit, make sure your batteries are charged, but get back familiar with the buttons and the setup and getting it set where you want to be. So let's talk a bit about the Zulus before I get to some shooting that we've done. Some things that I'm finding that I really do like about this digital day-night scope, and some things that are a bit of a hang-up. So the things that I like. Now for a digital day-night scope, this thing, I mean, it's pretty small. It's relatively the size of just a regular optic. And again, back to the features. The features, the buttons and stuff are quite simple to use on this. What I do like is the recordability for this. This is something, if you have missed shots, and we'll talk a bit about that in a bit here, the ability to follow a deer and watch where it goes and since track it with the video running and go back and review that later. That's a nice feature. Battery life has been really good for me on this thing. It's just been a pleasant experience using the Zulus. Now, some of the things that I find are a bit of a hang-up. First one, I'll hold this off this way so you can see it, is the height of the mount that the Zulus comes with. Now, even with this Bradley cheek riser on here, you can see right here, it's pretty high. You know, if Arken would offer something a little bit lower, that would be right up my alley to get a better sight picture here. I still need to, I can't plant just perfect like I typically would. I need to hold my face up a little bit like that with this Zulus. So that's my first hang up. You know, I can deal with it. It's not a deal breaker at the end of the world. In fact, I could put a piece of foam or raise this up if I needed to. But more so, with this thing, I would like to see a different reticle option. So the reticle, so I use the mill reticle, and there is an MOA reticle on this, but it is the standard shooting hunting reticle, meaning we've got the crosshairs and we've got some hash marks and numbers, but we don't have the tree. Well, that makes it hard for doing windage holdovers left and right in that with this thing. Now, that might not really affect a lot of people. I know these Zuluses are really popular with the air gun guys, and the wind can really move those pellets around a lot, so they may like to see that as well. But I would like to see a reticle change on this, and I don't know if that's something that they can change with the firmware or not. Time will tell. As far as other things that are hang-ups on it, I really don't have any. This thing has really been fun to use and simple to use. The Bluetooth features and sending the footage that you take to your phone and then putting it on social media or sending it to friends, messaging them with it is super slick, super simple, and super fast with this thing. And that's what I like. So I'm out doing this kind of stuff, and I can send these things right to my buddy that's right next to me and let him check out what we just did. He can send it to other people on the way home or whatnot. You can share your experiences. So that's pretty cool here with the Zula. So enough talking on that. Let's take a look at this footage. So here I am. I'm out here scanning around, looking at these deer out here, checking them out, kind of zooming in, trying to count points on these racks, panning back and forth, seeing some other deer come out of the field. And in this case, I'm mostly making sure I'm not going to shoot a buck. I'm looking for does out here. Now, my friend and I, who were both out doing this, I wasn't out alone on this hunt. We're waiting for a pair of does to come out because we're going to try to take two out at the same time, help this farmer out. So in this case, in this particular hunt, we had two deer come out. They're going to cross paths and move around a little bit on us, and we're going to take these shots. So check out this footage right here, taking that shot. Mine's walking. Let mine stop. Mine's walking. All right, mine's right behind yours. Mine's on the right now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm the one on the...
You go left, I'll go right.
I go with the one on the right. You get those left.
Okay, hold on, I gotta find mine.
You should use
Mine's okay, I'm good.
Ready?
Yeah, on 3.
2, 3.
So that's pretty cool. It's pretty simple to do, pretty simple to set up. Now, I didn't get a full drop shot of that animal. Something I've learned, if you have your Zulus zoomed in, that recoil, it moves your shot around, you may miss that. So learning point here, if you do not need to have your magnification cranked all the way up into that 17, 18, 20 power, back it out a little bit. So when you bounce on your recoil a little bit, it's gonna help you out as far as capturing a better picture there. So as the evening was coming to an end, we got everything back to the truck. We were getting ready to leave, and lo and behold, we turn around and there is another deer back out in the field. So in this case, I just pulled the Zulus out and I put my reticle onto it, and I wasn't doing any shooting, I'm just spotting for my friend as he takes this next shot here. So let's check out this footage here.
All right, take her. Miss. Oh, hit her. Down.
All right, guys, there you have it. That is pretty much it in a nutshell. A couple things, a couple kind of areas that more people were wanting to have some more information, more content on these Zulus LRFs. We had this thing out on a centerfire rifle, and we had it out on a day hunt actually harvesting animals. I'm gonna give this thing a 2 thumbs up. It's fun to use, it's easy to use, just keep yourself familiar with it. Don't want to forget to mention, I was stabilizing this setup on my 2Vets Recon tripod. So if you haven't checked 2Vets out, check those things out. They are awesome. So hey, until next time, when you're going to get out there with your Zulus, make sure you keep up to speed on how to work this thing. But hey, until next time, keep on shooting.